All right, we continue with our third session this week, and we're going to explore what happens with Aaron in the midst of all this, because Aaron is at the center of the golden calf, but what actually happens to Aaron? So we're going to listen to Exodus 32, verses 21 through 26. All right, so Moses said to Aaron, "What did these people do to you, that you led them into such great sin?" "Do not be angry, my lord," Aaron answered. "You know how prone these people are to evil. They said to me, 'Make us gods who will go before us.' As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him." So I told them, 'Whoever has any gold jewelry, take it off.' And then they gave me the gold, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf." Moses saw that the people were running wild, and that Aaron had let them get out of control, and so becoming a laughingstock to their enemies. So he stood at the entrance to the camp and said, "Whoever is for the Lord, come to me." And all the Levites rallied to him. So I think at first we see that Aaron's answers to Moses, trying to explain what he did, how he did it, other than Moses giving him the stern talking to, "Can I leave you with the Israelites even for a few minutes?" Apparently he can't. But Aaron is clearly a little misguided. So maybe out of innocence he thought, well, they are begging for to know God, to be closer. Maybe if I help them with this golden idol, this will be something that will help them in their time of worship. Maybe they needed to know that God was actually close. Maybe this could help the brokenness in this relationship. Maybe this will ease their grumblings. Maybe this will answer their questions. Maybe this will just make them be quiet for a moment. So Aaron gives in. Aaron does it. So maybe in just a simple misguided way, Aaron was thinking, well, maybe this really could help the people. Because as we read in the last passage, not only did he get their gold and the golden calf was created, but then he said, okay, let's create an altar here. Let's have a festival. Aaron was trying to push it into the context of worship. So maybe just in an innocent, misguided way, he said yes to the people's demands. He did what they asked, and he gave them something that he was hoping that would push them in the direction of worshiping God. So maybe Aaron was just a little misguided.
Well, the other thing to think about in terms of Aaron, because he does say, let's have a festival to the Lord. It says in the passage we read today that Moses saw that Aaron had let the people get out of control. And I think that's exactly right. Whether he had kind of done this maliciously toward God, or if he thought that we can have a little bit of the Lord and we can have a little bit of the calf, and having both won't be a problem. Whatever happened there, Aaron, I think, sees very quickly that this got out of control. This is like Pandora's box, that once it opens, everything flies out. This is like, if you've seen Fantasia, or probably maybe you've seen this segment alone, Mickey Mouse and the Sorcerer's Apprentice. We start with just a little bit of magic, a little bit of something to help, but then quickly it gets out of control, and there's trouble everywhere. Mm-hmm. Until the wizard comes back to put everything back into the box. That's kind of where Aaron is. And so Moses comes down. Moses sees what has happened, and he thinks, "Gosh, Aaron, what how did they force you to do this?
Did they tie you up? What kind of struggle was it?
How did they force you to do this?" And I want you to listen to how Aaron answers, because this is, I think, kind of instructive to how we sometimes try to minimize things. Aaron says, "Well, Moses, you know how these people are." And of course Moses knows how these people are. Aaron had probably listened to Moses complain about these people for months now. And but in doing that, Aaron takes any responsibility, any agency that he had in what happened, and gets rid of it. He said, "Well, you know how these people are. It's these people. It's these people.
Can't do anything with these people.
We're going to completely ignore what I did." Okay, and then he goes on. And he says, so I just got everybody's earrings, I got everybody's watches, I got everybody's rings, and I threw them into the fire, and this calf just came out again.
Yeah, right.
Again.
I don't think the calf magically just popped out of the fire. I really don't.
The responsibility, the actual action that Aaron takes gets minimized. He kind of leaves that part out. These things just happen. And I'm sure that when you feel like things get out of control, that you feel like these things just happen. This has gone beyond me. And in doing so, we kind of miss the responsibility that we have for things getting out of control. We miss the responsibility. We miss the part that we had in creating the idol, the golden calf, the sin that's in our lives. That's what Aaron's doing here. But I want you to notice what happens here at the end. How Moses kind of responds to that. Moses doesn't even respond to Aaron. I think maybe just discussed it, and he said, "This is not even worth responding to." But then he goes out and he goes to the he goes to the door of his tent, and he says, "Listen, everyone who is for the Lord, rally to me." And the Levites come. They come. Now, this is not the whole people. This is not everybody. But there are that group of people who rally to the Lord. And what's important here to understand is that is the opportunity that we have after sin. That is the opportunity that we have in a season of repentance like Lent. That's the opportunity that we have week after week as God calls us to more holiness, more love, more living in harmony with our neighbors, more peace. When God calls us to, when we fail, when we screw up, even a screw up as serious as a golden calf, there is that call to return. There's that call to come back. There is that call to rally to God, to recommit ourselves to what we know is right, to the promises that we've made, to the covenant. And that's what happens here with Moses.
So that's this week. Think about that. Where have we sometimes screwed up that much? When has the world gotten completely out of control? But I hope that the lesson also this week is that maybe don't be like Aaron, or at least learn from Aaron's mistakes in that even in the midst of chaos and frustration and anger and disappointment and problems and brokenness and chaos, even in the midst of all that, we have to own where it is that we sinned, where it is that our brokenness comes from. We have to deal with that. And hopefully we're hearing Moses' call to repentance, to make it right, to come back to God. So always own your own stuff. Learn a lesson from Aaron this week. Thank you for joining us this week.